Hi, it's Mike DelSignore. I want to talk about what happens if you're arrested for OUI and the case is going to be heard in Newton District Court. Well, Newton District Court is behind me right over there, and that's the case your case will be heard in. The court has both a trial session and an arraignment session, so they do hear their own jury cases. OUI cases are very winnable cases. These are subjective. The observations of the officer is just an opinion that they thought you were under the influence of alcohol. That opinion can be inaccurate, unreliable, and I can challenge the opinion in many different ways. In many cases, there'll be some field sobriety exercises, and then they'll say you were unsteady on a one-leg stand, that you had some trouble on a 9-step walk and turn. Well, there's a lot of reasons we can show that there might be other factors other than alcohol. It could be that you had a medical issue that affects your balance. It could be that you didn't understand the instructions. Maybe there's a language barrier. Could be the officer gave the instructions quickly. A lot of different things make these exercises unreliable and inaccurate. So just because you took a field test and the officer says you didn't pass, doesn't mean, first of all, you could have. In many cases, I'll look at the report and I'll say, well, if you scored it correctly, it'd show that you weren't under the influence. We're not looking for a pass-fail. We're just looking to show that there's a lot of things you did right that are inconsistent with somebody that's had too much to drink. If there's a breathalyzer test in the case, whether Newton or any other court, keep in mind these tests are not accurate, reliable. There's ways to keep them out of evidence. So we would have a hearing right in that court behind me to challenge the admissibility of the breath test evidence. There's recently been a problem with breathalyzer evidence where results were being submitted when all the procedures weren't being followed by officers. They weren't citing documents. I've seen results where the machine spit out a result when it's not supposed to. The machine's supposed to basically be able to check for errors, and we've learned that this machine doesn't. The software isn't foolproof. It has a lot of glitches, a lot of holes in it. In some cases, a person may take a test and it might be close to the legal limit. We can fight that. There's a margin of error for these machines. So make sure you're informed. That's the biggest thing. Many people come in and think, well, I'm just going to get the case done. I'm going to resolve it. I'm going to take continuance without a finding. They might even speak to a lawyer, and sometimes the lawyers don't do OUI work. You'd be surprised how many calls I get from attorneys who claim to do OUI work, and they say, well, my client, I don't understand the license consequences. I sent him to you to tell him what's going to happen to his license. Well, that's kind of integral to what happens with an OUI. So make sure when you resolve a case, when you hire an attorney, you have somebody that understands how evidence works, how breath test evidence works, how blood test works. I spent years traveling the country learning this, hours and on end. My house is filled with books on OUI. And it's my passion. I like doing it. It's never been work for me. I've always enjoyed getting up, try to learn how to defend somebody better in court. I host a seminar in Massachusetts for other attorneys. So I really like it. It's my passion to be a leader for other lawyers and to basically make this stuff more available, not only for myself, but for everyone. So if you have a charge at OUI, feel free to contact me. I'll explain how trials work, what the process is, what you can expect to happen in court, and what will happen with your license. Some cases you might have crashed. Some people crash and their license is suspended for what they call immediate threat. You can get your license back prior to the immediate threat expiring, but you have to go to the RMV Board of Appeals. So it's kind of a special division of the registry where you can get your license back. Now, they're going to want things. They're going to want alcohol treatment. If there's drugs involved, they're going to want negative drug screens. So these are the various things that come up in OUI cases that I see every day. If you have an accident case, keep in mind those are winnable cases too. Sometimes there's very little evidence. Just because someone crashed doesn't mean they're under the influence of alcohol. So when I look at the case, I look at it through my years of experience to understand how these cases are proven in court and with a knowledge of what ways I can attack the officer's testimony. So if you find yourself arrested for OUI, feel free to contact me. Your first court date would be the arraignment. You'll then go to a pre-trial. After the pre-trial hearing, then the case will either be assigned to a motion if there's evidence we need to get excluded, or if we want to challenge the legal basis of the stop. I have many times I'll say, well, the officer shouldn't have stopped the person. And while these motions do often get denied, they're very valuable in preparing the case for trial because we have the officer's testimony. The final step is the trial. Could be in front of a judge or jury. I've done many cases both ways. I've done bench trials right here in Newton District Court. I've done jury trials in courts all over Massachusetts. So if you want a comprehensive view on how to handle your OUI from start to finish, feel free to contact me. You can call, text 781-686-5924. It's never too early, too late to call. I'm here to help.